Hello, and welcome to PTSD While Black. Y'all, I did not sleep last night because my cat has PTSD too. No, she was running around like a fool because of the full moon, and I was like, I want to run around too. And my husband's like, go to bed, and I'm like, no. So I stayed up all night, pretty much. Yeah. But I want to talk about how gang stalking has an impact on relationships and also how we choose to respond to it and why I love my relationship with my partner. And I'm okay if he ever at some point says, this doesn't work for me. I'm like, "Hey, it was fun." We treat our relationship like an experiment. So I'm here for the science results, what comes from it. Sometimes it produces mold, sometimes it's um, beautiful and loving and cherishable. Um, but what was I going to talk about? I've been losing my train of thought a lot lately too. So I know that that's probably just some brain fuzzies going on. But let's talk about how gang stalking, which is people piling on to harass or follow someone, people who have chosen to believe a lie to pile on and harass and follow someone, how it can have an impact on a relationship. And what's so fucking funny is because I'm someone who's determined to always grow, to always learn, to always be like, oh, wow, that's new information. That's cool. And to be excited about new information and new ways of doing things. It's actually making my marriage better dealing with the gang stalkers. It's because I recognize that I have choices. I have choices to be afraid. I have choices to go, ooh, what is that? I have choices to get curious. Um, and what happened the other night was really good because when I had a PTSD episode yesterday, a few of them, and one of them was around like a Zoom bombing in a race group that I'm in for. Well, it's not really a race group. It's body image and sexuality for Black women group that I'm in. And so it's a very vulnerable subject to begin with, and then also adding race to it. It's like, woo! And some guy decided he was going to Zoom bomb, but I love, the team just handled it. They're like, nope. But it took me back to when we were at the height of COVID and people were wanting to. Actually, Zoom bombing is a form of gang stalking. Zoom bombing is a form of cointelpro, which is the behaviors that the FBI used against those who were protesting the Vietnam War and also civil rights work. So it's kind of like they're just doing the same, and your kids are being taught to do that. Isn't it interesting that our kids are being taught to normalize this behavior that was used to criminalize part of our society, part of our communities? And now it's just like a normal plaything for children. Isn't that interesting? I think that's very fascinating. Um, but yeah, and what that tells me is it's normalizing people, just like how we get used to seeing violence all the time. We expect violence and it doesn't really bug us as much, but seeing another human being die is a bad thing. It hurts. It's a loss of a life. And the same thing of seeing a human being tortured, it's a bad thing. It's a harm to my community, but we are normalizing it. We're normalizing it with gang stalking and Zoom bombing. So I think that's very interesting. I think it's really interesting. But anyway, that was not what I came here to talk about. I came here to talk about the discussion my husband and I had last night and in the morning, because ooh, this is not safe for children. All right, kids in the room, tell them to go. All right, they go. Okay, cool. So because I'm a survivor of rape, I need to feel safe and secure sexually. And um, I recognize something that I did when my partner was feeling amorous. I was like, all right, I'm willing to please you, even though it's that time of the month and I'm not going to be receiving because I don't feel good and I'm tired. So I'm like, I'll push past being tired, push past not feeling well to take care of my partner. And but we have a schedule. We have a schedule of when we're committed to interact with each other. And by the way, having vulnerable conversations is the best aphrodisiac, my friends, because that's intimacy. Start there for survivors. Just going to offer that. But last night I was tweaking on TikTok and he was playing a video game, and so it was like, it's detached. It's not like making the point of, hey, we're supposed to hold the space for this intimacy. And I realized that the gang stalking people that I've been dealing with, I notice that they tend to get reactive when I post videos of just me and my husband together. Are you unhappy to see that your target is married, lives with their partner that they've been with for 12 years? Had to do math since 2010. Why are you mad? Why are you upset? See, my husband and I, we work for our marriage. We work for our relationship. And I don't know if the folks who choose to harass me have worked for their relationships. But I want to offer this for you if you're someone who's currently being harassed and if it's straining your relationship. Do get vulnerable with your partner and say, hey, can we talk? Schedule a time to be emotionally vulnerable with each other if you're going through this type of stalking. And if it's not, if it's not your romantic partner, if it's with your roommates or your parents or what have you, but ask, can I be vulnerable with you? Can we have a committed time to vulnerability? And one thing that my husband and I do, because we have it as a regular schedule for us, is to have an awkward conversation, which really levels the playing field that neither of us is any better or smarter than the other, because we both feel weird talking on this topic and then getting forward. And so when I talked to him about me being amorous, or not him being amorous and me pleasing him, and I had told him, I'm like, that triggered some of my PTSD response from surviving the assault, because there's part of my mind that is, I'm only here to take care of this person's needs. And that's part of my PTSD, part of my fear of engaging. And we had just a very good, vulnerable conversation about that. And about, I felt closer to my partner. I'm like, I want to build, I want to work with you. I want to be with you. And, I'm cold because I don't have my rings, my bracelets, nothing on. I'm just in here in my blankie answering emails. But we've worked for this relationship. We did the work. We went to the marriage counseling. We went to couples counseling. We went to classes together on therapy and building one's self-esteem. We read about trauma together. We go to brain injury support groups together, or we talk about how brain injuries affect people. Hi. So my husband and I have been doing the work, and I feel safe with this person. And I can safely say, I'm disappointed that today's my day to be loved on and you weren't available. You were playing your video game and I need you to come in to say, hey, baby, I want to love on you. That's what I need. That's what I need. Because I'm not thinking about it. I'm afraid of it most of the time. And so to have that reassured safety. So I realized I had 2 traumas that had happened within 2 days of each other. So boop, boop. And I could just talk to him about it. And this morning, we kind of had like a little tiff, and that's part of why I didn't sleep, because I was dealing with, I'm like, I have both of these traumas and I needed to do writing. I needed to listen to music. I needed to play games. I needed to wind my brain down so that I could go to sleep. And I didn't go to bed till like 4 a.m. So I got to, think about the eclipse. I didn't go outside. It was like too damn cold. Anyway, this morning when we got up, because when I went to bed, I was just like, I don't want to be touched. I need to be in my own body. I need to be in my own experience. But in the morning, he had gotten out of bed before me because I was passed the fuck out. But I was like, wait a minute, we didn't do our ritual. We have a ritual, which is I lay on his chest and I listen to his heartbeat. I reconnect with him. And so I'm like, come back here, have your oatmeal, but then come back here and snuggle with me for 5 minutes. I think it's 5 or 10 minutes. I can't remember. But we just snuggle. Sometimes we fall asleep together. But we do that before bed or in the morning and at night. And what I'm saying is to have this ritual of reconnecting yourself with your friends, with your family, whether that's or with your significant other when you're being attacked by gang stalking situations. Have rituals of reconnection. Have patterns of how are we going to love on us? How are we going to show up for this relationship? Because it was such a good thing. Oh, and the couples thing that we went to this one week, it said something in the book about we treat our relationship as if it's a kid. When your kid is sick, you take off of work and you take care of that child. And so if you think of your relationship as a child that has needs that are made up of both people in the relationship, then we need to take the time off of our normal patterns of doing things, me on the phone or him playing video games, or even time off of work if need be, if things are very challenged, especially if there's abuse that is happening because of a gang stalking situation that you might be going through. It's important to take that time to commit to reconnect to the relationship that you're in. And I was holding his hand this morning, and we were praying together of surrendering. We surrender our relationship to God, the divine. They're in charge, not us. And to be able to take that guidance. But what was my point of that? I was able to connect with my partner. Part of the thing with the gang stalkers, nobody watches these videos anyway, so I can just talk. And when they do talk, they take segments and do things with it. But whatever, guys, I really don't care. But part of the thing that the gang stalkers, the guy who initiated all the stuff, try to claim that I was being clingy, try to claim that I was trying to force him into a relationship with me. And I'm like, dude, no, you stalked me and went through all my stuff and got jealous of anybody I acted with. And I didn't feel safe with that. I don't feel safe with that. But I was being overly dependent and overly clingy when my cat died, and I just really wanted someone to talk to. And he could have set boundaries and said, I'm not available for this. And we were, the other thing too, is I was going to be working with him to do some writing. And so we made appointments for writing. I show up for those appointments and we ended up talking or whatever. Dude, if you don't want to make an appointment, don't make an appointment. So anyway, point being, he tried to make me out to be clingy or possessive. And I'm only possessive in the spaces. And I love this, came from a conversation with him. He's like, if there's something that you want, are you going to go after it 100%? And I'm like, yeah, there's something that I want. I'm going to go after it 100%. My marriage. That's how I felt with my husband this morning as I was holding his hand, that I'm going to show up for it 100%. I'm going to do the work to allow it to be a safe space. I'm going to do the work on myself to be a safe person for my marriage. That's what we've been doing for the last 12 years. Yes, there may be moments where we're frustrated with each other, or we're tired, or we don't know how to communicate, or we're stuck in our traumas or fears. Yeah, that happens. It happens. And we have the commitment to show up for this relationship. And it just felt so powerful this morning. And so I know that my detractors are trying to say all kinds of crazy things about me. And from, I guess I'm a prostitute, I guess I'm a child molester. I guess I'm clingy, and that I needed him to take care of me. But nice try. If you'd gotten to know me, you would know who I am and try to maybe make up better lies. Definitely not a prostitute, because where's my money? Where? Where? And I also have severe anxiety around sex, so that's nah. Um, but anyway, I'm like, just I have to let that all just roll over like water off a duck's back, because I know my truth. I know who I am, and I know that I am valued and loved because I am me. And I know the truth of my relationship with my husband. And I really love this, actually, because this gang stalking situation brought us to a point where I was able to say to my partner, I'm like, you know, we're being attacked right now, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. We're being attacked financially. We've been experiencing attack. So it's more important now than ever to show up for the metaphorical child of our relationship. It's more important now than ever to show up for it. And I said, I know I love you, and I'm going to show up for you. You are where I want to be. I don't know, am I where you want to be? And if I'm never where you want to be, I'm okay with that too. Just tell me. Just tell me. And then we can make plans from there. I love, what's that song called? Hold on loosely, but don't let go. Something like that. If you cling too tightly, you'll lose control. Yeah. Hold on loosely. I'm not, I'm only clingy for what is supposed to be mine, which is my family, my creativity, the stuff that I make. Then I might be clingy towards that, but not towards people. Oh, I'm a crab. Oh, hello, one viewer. I hope you enjoy this rant. Um, so I just recognize that I show up for what's important to me. I show up for what's important to me. And my marriage is important to me because my husband has done the work. Now, if he had not done the work, I wouldn't show up. I would treat him the same way that I treated dude, where I was just like, okay, this doesn't work for me. I need to take care of myself. This is goodbye. My husband said something really funny. He's like, Quinn, why have you given this man 1,001 chances to do the right thing? Why? I mean, like, you tried to make amends and you were blocked, and then you sent an email and he didn't respond, and then when you sent a message, um, he's like, he blocked, got your account closed. I'm like, yeah, that was the final notice for me of like, okay, I've done everything that I could. But I'm like, I did everything I could with you because you are my husband and you are my love. And I don't want to give up on anybody. And so I do try. But then once it's clear, it's cut, that this is no more, bye. I do try to make an amends for my part, and that's what I will do. I will amend my behavior, and that's why I have this. Oh, you don't see it today, but I have it taped to the wall of like how to behave in these situations in the future, and that's something to write for your relationship. How to behave in the future, um, knowing that there are going to be people who are opposed to the very fact that you are in a relationship with someone. How are you going to show up? How are you going to be vulnerable and intimate with your partner or with your family or with your friends? Write that out. Have a plan for you because you're worthy of healing. You're worthy of being whole and staying whole. You're always whole. You have every opportunity to show up as a whole person, regardless of what some people on the outside may say about you or try to do to you. You are complete. So you're worthy of writing out the situation, write out the harms that it does to your relationship with whether it's your roommates, your partner, what have you. Write out the harms and write out how else can I show up so that you can put the focus back on today, the present moment, where you are right now with the people that you actually love, the people you actually give a fuck about, and those that give a fuck about you. And let your stalkers be stupid. document everything. I've been screen recording like the TikTok stuff that comes on my feed if it's abusive. And I actually have a lovely collection. I might have to compile that into a video for you guys someday, so you can see the stuff that I just dealt with. But I'm like, they're ghosts. They're not important. They're not important. But document, and always keep copies with someone else, either in a bank deposit or with a good friend. Keep a copy of your documents in a place other than your home, in case your stalkers get extra curious. By the way, my stalkers, baby. Yeah, there's not much proof on my computer. I know you've like hit it. External resources are available, and libraries are a thing too. But anyway, put the focus on you, on your reality being whole and worthwhile and being valuable, and that your relationship is worth showing up for. Your partner, your family members, your friends are worth showing up for and being your whole self. And you can just let these people who've got this fascination, just let them like roll on by. I need to make a hypnosis session for this. Should I make a hypnosis recording for gang stalking? Let me know. Leave a comment. Okay, I will talk to you later. Bye. The government